What do you mean by globalization? How does globalization impacts the internationalization process of management? Now, if you want to know the answer, please continue watching. Hello, this is Kristine Joy Bayon-on, and welcome to our discussion. On behalf of my group mates, we have Bianca Baguio and Allan Bongabong Jr. May we present to you our presentation for today, and that is all about international management and globalization. So, these are our learning objectives. First, to know the nature of international management. Second, to understand the importance of globalization and its effects. Third, to discuss the cultural attitude in global businesses. And fourth, adapting to cultural differences, competencies for global competitiveness. So, without further ado, let's start.
Globalization is defined as the movement and integration of goods and people among different countries. With that simply means, globalization itself is the interconnection of national economies across the world, across national borders and cultures. Next, we have the global manager. A global manager is a person who manages or works globally or internationally. A global manager should be aware of international developments and the effect on societies and economies. Also, he or she should be competent in working with people from different cultures. One more thing, global managers should follow market demand, supply, and trends in order to produce and distribute goods and services and maximize profit potential. Alright, so next we have the role of global managers. According to Stephen Rhinesmith, these are the following competencies that are essential to become or in becoming an international or global managers. These are, first, managing competitiveness. Second, managing complexity. Third, managing adaptability. Fourth, managing teams. And fifth, managing uncertainty. First, we have managing competitiveness. It is the ability to produce goods or services while achieving customer preference over other competitors. Second, we have managing complexity. It is the ability to separate complexity that is beneficial from complexity that hurts the business. Third, we have managing adaptability. It is the ability to adjust your actions in response to changes in your external environment. Fourth, managing teams. That is all about how you are going to administer and coordinate your group to perform a specific task. Managing teams in the workplace is not just about possessing leadership skills. It is also about recognizing the various personalities within a team and then utilizing those talents to facilitate the best outcome for a project. Now lastly, we have managing uncertainty. It relies on identifying and analyzing the factors that can affect the outcomes. So next, we have international business environment. The environment outside the Philippines and in different sovereign countries. Domestic business is about making, buying, and selling goods within a country. International management is the process of planning, leading, and controlling organizations engaged in international businesses. One more thing about international management, it is also about the management of business operations in an organization serving markets and operating in more than one country. This definition stresses the need for a much more advanced set of skills than managing within national borders, as it demands extensive knowledge of local conditions and adaptability. So why do business go international? First reason, we have importing and exporting. So exporting refers to the selling of goods and services from the home country to a foreign nation. Importing, on the other hand, refers to the purchase of foreign products and bringing them into one's home country. Alright, so listen. Every nation is blessed with certain resources, right? It could be in assets and or abilities. For instance, there is a nation who is rich in natural reserves. For example, soil, metals, and minerals. While also there are other nations who have deficiencies of these resources. Now, through the help of exportation and importation, nations now will be provided with the thing resources that they don't have. Now, next we have overseas financing and investment. Alright, so in general, companies go international because they want to grow or expand their operations. More specific motives include generating more revenue, competing for new sale, investment opportunities, and recruiting new talents. Alright, so next we have internationalization and risk reduction. Internationalization can offer opportunities for diversification of risk, and it seems many businesses are attracted to it for that reason. The risk of an economic slump in the home country may be able to be countered by the possibility that the slump would not affect foreign markets. And one more reason, we have expansion of sales and acquisition of resources. I think that's already self-explanatory. Now, let's move on to the positive and negative effects of globalization.
Hi everyone, I'm Allan Bongabong Jr. So moving on, I present to you the positive and negative effects of globalization. So the first positive effect is it allows companies to expand in foreign markets. Since it's global, companies have the opportunity to expand in the foreign markets to improve their business. The second one is job opportunities for people. It gives people many job choices and a higher chance to get a job. The third one is cost-efficient possibilities. It gives companies many opportunities to choose and decide on what they are going to use that can help them and is effective for their company without wasting time, effort, and expense. The last one is it improves a country's economic development. Globalization gives many opportunities for companies to invest in different places. So by this, it would add up to their income and might as well help develop their country's economy. So moving on to the negative effects. The first one is offshoring of business service jobs to lower wage countries. Offshoring means to relocate a business to a foreign country to take advantage of lower costs. It affects the lower wage country because business is a competition, and those local producers in a lower wage country can compete. There are many people seeking for employment all over the world, and employers take advantage of cheap labor. Thus, this results in imbalanced economy and abnormal prices for goods and services. The second one is foreign competition can harm local companies. Since it is global, competitions between companies can't be prevented. This would greatly affect the local companies. The third one is growing trade deficits. The growing trade deficits affects the country in a way that importation exceeds the exportation. It may cause a balance of payment problem and affects the foreign exchange shortages. The last one is it promotes homogeneity of cultures. Globalization affects cultural diversity. It's a process of local cultures absorbed or transformed by dominant outside culture. So the next one is the type of market entry strategies. The first type is the global sourcing. A country seeking goods and services beyond one's borders or from the local market to find the most cost-efficient goods and services for local use. The second one is the licensing agreement. A business contract which is the seller of the license owns the asset and the buyer pays for the right to use the license. The third one is the franchising. It's a continuing relationship in which a franchisor provides a license privilege to the franchisee to do business and offers assistance in organizing, training, merchandising, and managing in return for a monetary consideration. The next one is the importation and exportation. Exporting is the sale of products and services in a foreign country that are sourced or made in the home country. Importing refers to buying of goods and services from foreign companies and bringing them back to the home country. And the last one is the direct investment. It refers to an investment in a foreign business designed to acquire a controlling interest in this enterprise.
So there are factors that may impact the companies working in an international business environment. So there we have the political factors concerning with the government legislations, rules, and regulations. We also have the economic factors that is concerned with the country's monetary system, inflation, and interest rates. Our monetary system or our currencies, we already know that not all countries are using the same currencies, right? And that currencies may alter over time. So we better have to be careful and we better have to consider this factor. And also for the inflation, that is the situation of rising in prices of our goods and services. Interest rate is the percent of principal charged by the lender for the use of its money. They impact the international business by controlling the money supplies. Let's always take note that changes in our business environment can create great opportunities for our organization and may also cause significant threat. So we have there the pestle analysis. It is a tool that will help us analyze and understand the forces that our business are exposing to. Pestle stands for political, economical, social, technical, environmental, and legal aspect. So managing globalization, how the government discourages international business. First, we have the tariff. Tariffs, it is a tax placed on products that are traded internationally. Next, we have quota. Quota limits the quantity or the monetary amount of a product that can be imported from a given country. Next, we have embargoes. It is the total ban on the import of a good from a particular country. Next, we have licensing requirements. It is all about controlling imports by requiring that certain countries have a government import license. Now, next we have how the government encourages international business. So first, we have basically the free trade zone. Alright, so designated area that is usually around where products can be imported duty-free and then stored, assembled, and then used during manufacturing. Only when the product leaves the zone does the importer will pay the duty. Now next, we have the most favored nation. It will allow country to export into the granting country under the lowest country duty rates. Now next, we have the free trade agreements. So those member countries will agree to eliminate duties and trade barriers on products traded among members. Now lastly, we have the common market. Members eliminate duties and other trade barriers, allow companies to invest freely in each member's country, and allowing countries to move freely across borders.
Factors influencing globalization. First, historical. The trade routes were made over the years so that goods from one kingdom or country moved to another. So, it means that it is the process of the world becoming more interconnected. Second, economy. The cost of goods and values to the end user determine the move of goods and value addition. So it means economy creates expansion of global markets to liberalize economic activities of the exchange of goods, services, resources, and funds. Also, removing cross-border trade barriers like tariffs. Third, resources and market. Natural resources make an important contribution in globalization. So, the limited resources of a place creates high competition, which burdens their market. Fourth, production issues. Utilization of build-up capacities of production, sluggishness in domestic market, and overproduction makes so it drives every company to compete with each other, which aims to produce more advanced product and services. Fifth, political. Regulates mainly with the relationship and guarantees the rights among nations, open policies and agreements. We all know that politics creates policies and guidelines that protects the right of every nation. Sixth, industrial organization. Expansion of operations among firms in the areas of production. So, industrial organization creates idea to the company to manufacture goods in an international setting, or it is no longer necessary to produce product and goods in one setting. Seventh, technologies. The technological advancement has helped a lot in creation and growth of global market. Technological advancement influence globalization by creating devices that improves the capacity to disseminate informations faster and cheaper. Managing across cultures. First, understand and motivate employees with different values. First of managing across cultures involves the ability to embrace and understand the difference and similarities of the employees. Second, appreciate the influence of work. In most cases, one can be more motivated to do work if they would encourage one another. Third, communicate in the local language. One way to mold relationships is through communication. And it is a must to communicate using the local language in order to be able to understand and create good conversation. Fourth, utilizing a global mindset. Keeping a state of mind like thinking as a whole makes the team work. And most importantly, build a trust is the foundation to a successful business.
Now, there are 5 competencies for global competitiveness. First, we have business acumen. One must know the business he or she owns or represents. Without such knowledge, it would be difficult on the part of the individual to grow the business. People with business acumen are regarded as those who have a good business sense to navigate the company to where it should be heading. Second, we have strategic or analytical thinking. One must have the ability to plan, formulate, and implement effective strategies that will lead to business success. It is looking into the future and identifying the alternatives that are open to the individual that are key to success. Third, we have the collaborative relationship. An individual cannot be successful on his or her own. He or she has to collaborate with others. Now, fourth, we have customer focus. An understanding of customers' needs, issues, and concerns is needed for business success. If one knows his or her customer well, the individual will be effective in responding to delighting his or her customers. Now, lastly, we have execution. Planning is one thing, implementation is another. Many plans remain as they are because of the failure of individuals to act on them. Execution is seeing through the completion of a particular undertaking. An individual must act in a decisive manner in order to deliver superior results. Alright, so last one, we have the examples of companies going global or doing global. We have Coca-Cola, McDo, and 7-Eleven. Other examples of international firms or business also include Apple, It is a company that produces consumer electronics such as computers, tablets, mobile phones, and etc. One more thing is that Apple also sells its products around the world, but their headquarters and all product development are located within the US. Also, we have another example of globalization, which is the clothing industry. From the situation itself, you can infer and you can notice that there is trading happened across national borders, right?
Alright, so that ends our presentation. Congratulations to everyone. Again, thank you for watching and I hope you have learned something from us. Thank you again and have a great day.